Saturday afternoon. It's almost like we've got the Caribbean weather for the event tonight. My name is Councillor Walcott, and I will be your MC tonight, and welcome to the in-person launch event for Tempo. Thank you so much for attending this event and supporting Tempo. We are going to start the program with an opening prayer, followed by a land acknowledgement, and of course the Canadian anthem. So if you could bow your heads, please. Lord, may your goodness and love be present amongst us today. Come bless our gathering with unity, hope, and vision. Lord, we pray for unity. Build in us all a deep respect for one another so that we may be one. Lord, we pray for hope. Come stir your hope within our hearts and renew our faith. Lord, we pray for vision. May your vision fill our lives as we seek to reveal your love. We ask all this in your glorious name, amen. Tempo aims to uphold the intention of the numbered friendship treaties from the perspective of Indigenous peoples. We also remain collectively accountable to respect Indigenous peoples' legal and inherited rights, recognizing we are all treaty peoples. Through our words and actions, Tempo honors the traditional lands of the Blackfoot Confederacy, which includes the Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani First Nations, as well as the Iahe, Nakota, Wesley, Chiniki, and Bearspaw First Nations, and the Tsuut'ina First Nation. We also recognize the connection and autonomy of the Métis Nation, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis and Inuit, who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today, and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on or are visiting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call on Zion to play the Canadian National Anthem on the steel pan. So I can get everyone to stand, please. Of course, we're going to hear more from Zion later on today. So we're here today to celebrate Tempo. And for those of you who don't know, Tempo stands for Tropican, Education, Mentorship, Pageantry, and Outreach, a registered society. Tempo's mission is bringing cultures together, making a difference. So created during the pandemic, Tempo launched and did several virtual events, and we're here today to officially launch Tempo to our Canadian and Caribbean community. All right, so here's a brief explanation of the creation of Tempo's logo and what it represents.
time process for me took me on a journey that I needed to understand who is Temple, what is Temple, and what does it mean for me, someone of Caribbean descent, living in Canada, as well as Canadians interested in understanding and learning what it means to be a part of the Caribbean culture here in Calgary. How do I translate that vision? How do I translate that idea? I'm going to start by reiterating what was said earlier. TEMPO stands for Tropican Education, Mentorship, Pageantry, Outreach Society. Tropican being the umbrella organization that's tasked with overseeing the various aspects and undertakings of TEMPO along the way as we develop and grow the culture here in Calgary. Education, the division tasked with educating and providing the foundation to inspire the next generation on everything Caribbean. The culture, the arts, everything in between, and including Canadians in our experiences along the way. Mentorship, providing an avenue to build on that education arm by having coaching, guidance throughout the various disciplines. Pageantry, well, we all know that's carnival, right? The genuine masquerade experience. How do we include everyone willing to learn about the festivities? Outreach, the division tasked with providing an avenue to support local communities, the region, and the globe by way of various programs and support strategies. Who is TEMPO? TEMPO is Canadian. TEMPO is Caribbean. TEMPO is everything that it means to be of Caribbean descent, by blood or by proxy. TEMPO involves everyone willing to participate and become part of our culture, to be a part of our experience, to be a part of our journey. That being said, let's take a look at how the vision of TEMPO was brought to life. There you go, the vision of TEMPO brought to life. The colors chosen, red, green, yellow, light and navy blue, and black, not only represent things within the Caribbean, but also things right here within Canada and Alberta. Take for example the color red. It's found on various national flags throughout the Caribbean, as well as within our own national flag here in Canada. Light and navy blue not only represent the Caribbean Sea and the various beaches throughout the Caribbean, but also represents our lakes right here in Alberta. The ribbon signifies our unity as one Caribbean entity bound by something that is representative of freedom, with the freedom to express our cultures individually as well as together. We bring together the visualization of our rich, diverse musical history, which not only shows our bond by music, but lends to the education and outreach aspects to teach and spread our musical warmth. Designed as a ribbon to also showcase the pageantry that is carnival and the freedom to celebrate our culture. If you look hard enough, you'll also see the waves that make up that fervency. Thank you for the opportunity again to share the creative vision that is TEMPO.
All right. Thank you so much. I would like to introduce Woolston Iam, Vice Chair of TEMPO, to come up and say a few words about the organization.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, friends, family, honored guests. Also, thanks to Seaver and the staff at Junction Bar and Grill for allowing us to host Temple in-person launching right here. Before I start, I just want you to give a round of applause. Zion learned that in one day. I never saw it before. That's a little guy who played the pan on an instrument he has never played before. So give him another round of applause. My name is Wilson Ayala. I'm the Vice Chair of Temple, an acronym for Tropican Education, Mentorship, Pageantry, and Outreach. Our mission is to bring together the Caribbean and Canadian cultures to make a difference. Our values are also reflected in the Temple acronym: transparency, excellence, mentorship, partnership, and opportunity. Diversity is our strength. Tempo comes from the beat of the drum. It's the one instrument that is basic to every culture. Its design and tonality differs throughout every continent, country, culture, and ethnicity. The drum keeps the rhythm, gets the body moving, and as we could say, it kind of pulls you to catch the power. That's what we say in the Caribbean, right? Tempo officially became a not-for-profit organization in October of 2020, right in the middle of COVID lockdown. Are we crazy? Yes, a little bit. But this was a concept that was conceived years before. February 2021, we publicly launched the organization via a virtual presentation hosted by Mr. Drew Allen. He's somewhere around here. Yeah. The national anthem was sung by Janae Gardner. We opened with a prayer by Pastor Yvonne Terry, and special guest speakers included former Mayor of Calgary, Mr. Nenshi, Calgary Police Chief, Mr. Neufeld, the Prince of Blues, Gary Martin, and special recognition to Astro Productions for designing the logo. In January 2021, we hosted a legal connection virtual seminar with family lawyer Nigel Montu, former prosecution lawyer Anita Zabo, and Sheriff Griswold Carter. August 2021, Temple organized another virtual event, Back to School Intro to University. Ms. Oda Tully Diaz focused on scholarships, bursary, and student loan programs, and the application process for post-secondary institutions, while Ms. Akiri Harvey, youth representative for the Barbados Canadian Association of Calgary, explained the programs available through their organization. It was concluded with Yasmin, an executive member of the African Caribbean Association of the University of Calgary, sharing how they create an open dialogue for African and Caribbean issues on campus. In December 2021, for the 12 days of Christmas, Temple showcased a different Caribbean business on each of the 12 days on our website, www.templeyyc.org. The diverse group of countries encompassing the Caribbean is a melting pot of cultures, music, cuisines, and people. It is a direct result of being conquered by the British, French, Spanish, Dutch, and Portuguese empires. Many of us from the Caribbean have now made Canada our home. As Temple grows, we encourage the diaspora to get involved in our various initiatives. Education. You saw what happened with one day with a young kid with a desire to learn an instrument that many, many people have heard, either on a Caribbean cruise, when they go down to the Caribbean, in your, all-inclusive vacations. The education is not about the pan only. The education is about if they're having trouble, whatever, family issues, school issues, let's try and keep our youth off the street and become good citizens. Mentorship. Many of us, second generation, third generation Canadians from Caribbean heritage, most of us have ended up in some sort of post-secondary education. We have very many people in the Caribbean community successful in their careers, but we don't hear about that. We need to show the youth what we can do in these careers. The ups, the downs, how did we get through it? I know sometimes they have ride-along days with the police, or they have career days. Let's get these kids off the streets and get them productive citizens. Pageantry, getting people involved in design, color, fabrication, all of those. You see some designs that were done. Pageantry is not about carnival only. Pageantry is about designing costumes for plays, designing costumes for uniforms and all of that. It also is in the Olympics. If you knew in Atlanta, the opening ceremony, the whole design, the whole production of that was done by a former master by the name of Mitchell. Designed costumes for many, many years for the carnivals all over the world. That's what pageantry can do. It's an art form, not just for carnival. It could be done for many, many, many other occasions. Outreach. As you know, we live in the Caribbean amongst weather patterns that devastate some of the Caribbean islands. Everything from volcanoes to hurricanes. When things like this happen, everyone rushes in to help immediately, and we need that help. But 3 months after that help, there is no help needed. That's where Temple sees its value afterwards. Maybe they need more housing. Maybe they need wheelchairs. Maybe they need help in hospitals, right? That's what we could do. Temple recognizes the influence the Caribbean culture has on the economic landscape of Canada. I encourage you to explore and contribute your talents to this organization to further the development of the blending of the cultures, and let's make a difference. For a complete recap of the presentations, go to www.templeyyc.org. The growth of the Caribbean population in Canada started through immigration in the 18th century. Immigration from the Caribbean to Canada increased during the 1960s and 1970s. So we have been here for a long, long time. So I encourage you to take part in what we do. The sounds of the Caribbean, the culture, the cuisines, help us achieve our goals. Thank you.
All right. Can I give you your iPad?
She could continue reading this.
I could. I feel like I would probably drop it. That's the only thing. Thank you so much, Wilson. Super great to hear more about Tempo, what the goals are, and what's next for this organization. We are going to hear more. First of all, I'd like to introduce Councillor Courtney Walcott of Ward 8 to speak. Now, Courtney was a teacher and basketball coach at Western Canada High School. He graduated from Mount Royal University with a degree in history, focusing on African American history, in particular the long journey of civil rights in North America. Now, Courtney is a community builder and community organizer. His life has been dedicated to helping people realize their place in the world. In 2020, Courtney petitioned the Calgary Board of Education to form an anti-racism task force, and then went on to bring together 15 community organizations to successfully advocate for $8 million in additional community funding from the City of Calgary to support changes to the way we respond to people in need. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Courtney Walcott.
Still not very used to hearing my own biography, but thank you. Thank you so much. I'm always humbled by any invitation to speak at, honestly, any event, but especially humbled to speak at any invitation where there is such a beautiful collection of culture And more importantly, even for someone who's focused on African American history, a beautiful collection of Black people. The one thing about my own history is when we think about Canada, my family is from Toronto. Before that, Nova Scotia. Before that, Barbados. And then we don't know from where we came from before that. So coming into spaces like this, with people who understand the African diaspora, who understand the blending of cultures, it means so much to me. Obviously, in my past life as a teacher, my life has been focused so heavily on what the next generation can be and what the next generation can do. And I often always start there. People always ask about me as a counselor, but I always start as a teacher because even though I moved on from that profession, you never really stopped being a teacher. Everyone in this room, you are probably an educator to someone in your life anyway. And so my favorite part of any of these events is when we start with a land acknowledgement, because for me, I always like to try and reframe and make personal the way we do land acknowledgements as well. So recently I started doing something a little different with my own personal land acknowledgement, and it starts with a question I can anticipate that most people in this room know all too well. A very, very popular question to many people who find themselves as an immigrant, or find themselves from another place, or find themselves living slightly different. Where are you from? Just a quick show of hands, how many people often hear that question in their life, like, where are you from? They're trying to figure out who you are, where your place is in this world. This has been a question for me that's always held a lot of weight. Sometimes it's genuine curiosity. I've had children ask me, where am I from? Because they're just trying to figure out why I'm slightly more caramel than they are, right? They're just trying to figure out, where are you from? But other times, it's with a tone of, you don't belong here. And, where are you from? So, land acknowledgements are supposed to be about honoring the lands of those first peoples who would say, I am from here, from Canada. So when I looked across my classroom as a teacher to all the different diverse faces, honestly, when I look across a room like this to all the diverse faces, I think that same thing. I'm like, oh, this is where you're supposed to do a land acknowledgement, ask that question. So, if I were to say to you right now, where are you from? We have to honestly ask ourselves and try to find our place in the world. Because when I ask that question, where are you from? It's because I want to know about your ancestry. I want to know about your culture. And I want to give you a place to actually answer, acknowledge, and honor where you are from. Because if you ask every single person that question in earnest, then you actually have a chance to honor your culture and your place in this world. So I was asked when I wanted to speak here today, and I really want to speak about how that concept of diversity is our strength, where it comes from, how it fits. And so I often think about the nation we're in, and how our nation as Canada is defined by our diversity. But how many people have heard that phrase, diversity is our strength, and not really ever understood how to define it and how to explain it? And so with that, I often actually think about the United States versus Canada. Hot topic in my line of work. In the United States, they often talk about the concept of the melting pot. In Canada, we talk about the concept of the mosaic. You see, the melting pot is where I'm going to take everybody in this room and put you into this place. I'm going to just blend your cultures together until we create one unified culture, all in one. Generally in America, you actually just hear it say when people say I'm American. In Canada, on the other hand, this is sometimes people like it, sometimes people don't, but generally we preface what type of Canadian we are. Whether we're a Caribbean Canadian, if we're African Canadian, or if we're a Black Canadian, and so on. You like to preface the type of Canadian you are. And the reason why I think we should always kind of continue to do this is because a huge part of our strength is that we honor our culture first, and then we realize that we are a part of something bigger now. It's that combination. So when I think here in Calgary, we are growing that confidence in our diversity. We are the third most diverse city in the nation. I actually don't know how many people know that Calgary is number 3. I know I see a lot of faces in this, so you have to say, I have the stats. We are the third most diverse city in the nation. And multiculturalism, you actually kind of see it growing in our festivals, you see it growing in our businesses, you see it growing in our schools, in our curriculum, in our music, in our parties, and in our knowledge. I say knowledge because that is the true strength of diversity. The experiences that we all actually bring to the table will grow the abilities of those around us, expand worldviews. but at the same time bring the entire world closer to home. But sometimes it is hard to define why diversity is our strength. So, I like to think back to Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, Wakanda forever. I always start there because I remember stories of how executives over the last 20 years used to think to themselves that there would never be a film with a black superhero that would be popular enough to fill theaters, to make millions. People said that black superheroes couldn't headline a superhero movie. Black superheroes wouldn't draw an audience. Kids wouldn't dress up as a black superhero. But this mindset came from a place of not knowing. The people who thought this way sat in rooms without the diversity of knowledge to tell them there's a whole market waiting to be seen by an entire industry. So, when we broke that door down, when we took that risk, when we were unapologetically ourselves, we opened up an entire world to the knowledge that diversity works. It makes us better. It makes us stronger. And it is a real picture of the world. And that's what I see when I look across a room like this. This is the risk we should always take. I was asked, sometimes I'm often asked, especially as a teacher, what is a lesson that I'd like to share with the next generation? And I honestly always tell them that you have to take the risk because the world that we live in it's a market of experiences. Do you want to start a business? Make it your own. You have experiences, own it. Want to write? Tell your stories. Want to make art? Show us who you are. If you want to lead, know yourself, and you'll always find your way through. It starts there. So if I could tell you all one thing, it is to understand how connected everything actually is. And that's actually why the stories of Temple make so much sense, because I have worked in a long time in a world where people will try and isolate aspects of who you are from everything that's trying to silo you. So, if you refuse to let people do that, to silo you, isolate you, and you realize how connected it all actually is, everything just gets better. Your art will inform your politics, your compassion will inform your policy, your business informs your values, and everything you do is a ripple effect beyond what you might see as a silo. So when you get involved, know that everything you do has an impact. And that's the kind of work that we see here today with something like Temple YYC. And the success of this city depends on the next generation taking the foundations that we see the leaders in this room setting up and building on them, making them better. So when you think about the history that was just described by Woolston, where a world of colonialism has played a great role in shaping our foundations. That's why our unity is more important than ever, because the reality is our path isn't a flat road, but an uphill journey. But our stories, the stories of people, of Caribbean people, are stories of resilience and strength. So be resilient, be united, and be bold, and walk with a sense of belonging that you deserve. Because we need your voice at the table, people. So, thank you all for giving me the space to speak.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Councillor Walcott, for those inspiring words. We're going to take a little bit of a break right now, but this break includes prizes. So, remember those little tickets you got when you came through the door? Yeah, get those out. I think Woolston's going to help me out here. And before we draw this prize, just to thank you to all the local Caribbean businesses who donated the door prizes. Okay. What do we got there? Okay. So the first prize is from Chala. It's a $50 gift certificate.
Yeah, it's over.
Okay, yeah. All right. Have your tickets out? All right, here's the number. We've got 7, 8, 3, 3, 3, 5.
Oh,
Hey! Congratulations! We're going to hand deliver. Okay, all right. All right, so the next prize, Island Beach Hair and Beauty Supply. Okay, that's all good. We'll just leave that there. $50 gift certificate.
Yep.
Okay. Lefton's. And pull that lucky prize. All right. Okay, I'm just gonna read the last three numbers. Those first three are all 783, so 322. Yay! Miss Gina! Miss Gina. You gonna share those hair products with Monica? I wouldn't say that to just anybody. All right, our next prize is from Hype Moss, another $50 gift certificate. Let's see what we got here. Okay, first number, 783. Last three numbers, 330. 330. Yeah, all right. Can you tell me what Hype Moss is?
Has anybody drank sea moss?
Yes.
It's a drink. Don't know if it really comes from the sea, but I do know it comes very like translucent, and you have to wash it really, really well. With lime and so that there's, what do you call it? What? Oh, what am I looking for? Yeah, it's kind of a bitter, sweet, but I tell you, you go to Hype Moss, I don't know what that guy does with that, but man, it tastes good. And for you guys, no more said.
Well, I'm intrigued. All right, so we have another Island Beat Salon gift certificate to give away. This is our last prize? Okay, Steve. Oh, we got one more after this? Okay. 783, of course, is the first three numbers. The last three, 340. 340. Yay! All right. Okay, is this? What is this? What do we have here? Oh my goodness. So what we have here are 4 cinnamon donuts from Sweet T&T. I don't think anybody wants these, so I'll just take care of this right now. Okay, wait. Oh, I get to choose? Oh, interesting. No, my ticket's in my purse. I don't even know what it is. Okay, last three numbers. 3, 2, 7. Oh, all right. You need help with those, sister. I got you. All right. Do we have 2 more? Oh, hey. We got 2 more boxes of the same thing. Oh my goodness. Okay. You got your tickets on? If you win, you can share with me? Okay. He didn't hesitate. He's like, yeah. Okay, 783-319. 319. Oh, yay! Enjoy. One last box of goodness. That's like a bigger box. Oh, wow. It's like a family pack. Can we shake it some more? No, I feel like I have to add. It's bad karma if I put that one back. Okay, 73, of course, 308. What was it called? Oh, hey-oh. All right. Congratulations to all. Oh, is that? All right. Congratulations to all the winners. Make sure you share. All right. Okay, so now I would like to call on Arcton Lancaster to tell us about how the history and music of the steel pan teaches us the importance of diversity and inclusion. Come on up.
Thank you, Carl. I
wrote this short history of the steel pan for 2019 Black History Month. And it's a pleasure and an honor to read this and share this with you today. How the history and music of the steel pan teaches us the importance of diversity and inclusion. The story of the steel pan starts with people. People who were poor, people who were unemployed, people who were often homeless. Most of these people were not respected within society in Trinidad, where the steel pan was first invented. The people who invented and played the first steel pans were thought of as outcasts and criminals. The people who invented the first steel pans were people desperate for an opportunity to be better, for the opportunity to express themselves and how they felt. They wanted to have something that they could call their own, and that they could be proud of. The steel pan started with discarded oil drums. Long before the concept of recycling and reusing became popular, the idea of turning discarded oil drums into instruments was born in the 1940s in Trinidad. It is ironic that the people that were discarded within society were the people that made instruments from discarded oil drums. The steel pan evolved from an instrument with a few sounds, then notes, to an instrument with all the notes found on a piano. The steel pan is now made to represent a variety of the same sounds of instruments that are found within an orchestra. An orchestra is an excellent example of the importance of diversity and inclusion. Imagine an orchestra that only had a piano and a few violins. There would be music, but the music would not be as beautiful and rich in sound as a full orchestra with all the instruments included. Inclusion is similar to the difference between hearing a few instruments play music and an entire orchestra. The diverse combination of all the instruments playing together in unity is what makes an orchestra truly special. The steel pan, like many other instruments, has a beautiful sound, but it is when the steel pan is part of an orchestra of other steel drums that the true power of the music can be experienced. People are like discarded oil drums. First, we need to discover the potential in ourselves before we can discover the potential in others. When our own potential is included with the diverse potential of other people, that is when we truly become an orchestra. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Artin. All right, who wants to hear a little bit more steel pan music? Come on. Yeah. Okay, Zion is going to come up. He's going to play for us, and then we'll find out a little bit more about his experience.
That was good, eh?
Okay, so how old are you, Zion, first of all?
Well,
12 years old. And how long have you been playing the pan?
almost going on 2 years now.
Okay, so that was amazing. Everybody recognized that song, right? Right? So what is the best thing about playing the pan? What is the thing that you love the most?
The notes are different from most of the instruments, so you can make music sound like it's my favorite part.
All right. So how excited are you about playing the pan classes that you're going to be that are going to happen once the Tempo initiative starts? What advice would you give to people who want to check it out?
You just gotta find the pan you like, because they're different ones, and once you stick to it, it's like, you gotta stick to it, because that's what you gotta do.
Life lessons. Stick to it. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Stick to it. All right. Wilson. We're going to invite Wilson back up to the stage to talk a little bit about the upcoming PAN classes that I was alluding to and the GoFundMe campaign. So,
Thank you. You guys are happy to see me again, huh? Let me introduce myself. I'm known as the ping pong, steel pan, steel drum, steel orchestra, or simply the pan. I was born out of a revolution and defended by the sons of the soil in Trinidad and Tobago. Although many played a part in my invention, Winston Simon, better known as Spree, tattooed me with musical notes. It started with people knocking old petrol tins and juice pans, making rhythmic tempos, followed by people chipping behind those who dared play them in the streets. I am the only percussion instrument invented in the 20th century and constantly evolving. I'm not just one, I am many. I can be the lead or tenor, but not just a tenor. I can be a fourth and fifth tenor, or a low C, or a low D tenor. They dress me and can put me in a short skirt or a long skirt on me. I can be a high or low tenor. I'm versatile. What about me, the double second? Invented by Bertie Marshall, my notes are spread over 2 tenor pans, and I make the melody and harmony of a song more interesting. As part of an orchestra, I invite my friends, the cello pan, the guitar pan, ground dig, or quadraphonic. Some of them come as a pair, triplets, or a quad. And like we Caribbean people, they invited some of their friends, the bass pans, that come as a group of single pans, 4-piece, 6-piece, 9-piece, 12-piece, or canon bass. Today, I am still being reinvented. I'm being transformed into a G-pan. I'm a family of pans with an extension of note ranges. I can be G6 bass, G mid, G second, G soprano. And with the increase of acceptance of technology, I am also an E-pan. Yes, E for electronics. Although invented in Trinidad and Tobago, I reside throughout the Caribbean and in other countries like Germany, France, Switzerland, Japan, England, USA, and right here in Canada. I have played at festivals, corporate events, and parties. I have graced the stages of Carnegie Hall, Sydney Opera House, Presidential and Monarchy Palaces, major sporting events, international expos, just to name a few. I'm included in music programs in high schools and universities across the planet. Many know me to play calypso and soca music. However, composers, musicians, and players can perform classical music, R&B, hip-hop, gospel, reggae, and top 40 songs with its original score or revised rhythms. I can be played by the young or old, but I tell you, once you are introduced to me, I am yours forever. Amen to that one. I sound like a preacher. I cannot be discarded. I become part of you, never letting you leave me. We become one, and like my friends in the orchestra, many would invite you to their homes, places of worship, and events. Make no mistake, I am worth everything you put into me, and in return, I will give you more enjoyment and accomplishment. I leave you with my steel pan creed: unity, acceptance, and discipline. So please, help Tempo raise the funds to spread the pan fraternity in Alberta. We need 30,000, and this can be easily accomplished with 2,000 of us, friends, families, small businesses, and corporations, donating a mere $15 each. And think of the smiles of your kids' faces and enjoyment of performing and accomplishments and more, just like Zion. Let's make it part of the musical program at ULC, MRCs, high schools, junior high schools. We'd like to expand this program where musical competitions between institutions are executed with bragging rights and more financial aid given to our schools and universities. To donate, we will accept cash, check, credit or debit cards, or if you want, you can also go onto the gofundme.com/helpkidslearn-to-play-pan, or check out our website at www.tempoyyc.org for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Wilson. Sounds like an amazing initiative. Again, please donate. TempoYYC.org is the website, easy place to get to. Or you can find any of the Tempo volunteers here tonight to help you out. All right, so coming up next, I'd like to introduce Stephen, also known as the Caribbean Sun. Bring it on. Stephen Ramke was born in Trinidad, the southernmost Caribbean island, and began playing the steel pan at the age of 8. He has been a winning competitor in steel band panorama competitions held every year to decide the champion steel band. His distinguished musical career has taken him around the world several times. Stephen has performed for royalty, heads of state, and has performed at some of the world's most prestigious venues. I'd like to welcome Stephen up to the stage here to just have a chat and talk a little bit about your steel pan experience. Now, we were talking earlier, and we were talking about your travels. What are some of the most exciting places that you've been to play?
Well, some of the most exciting places I've been was like the Sydney Opera House, the opening of the Sydney Opera House. I got to meet people like whom I used to be Queen Elena, His Excellency Ras El Selassie, Jomo Kenyatta, Kenneth Kaunda. I got to meet like Prime Minister of Australia and India and a lot of places like that. But it's interesting to note that what the speaker before said about pan. When I was growing up, now my daddy was a preacher man. So growing up in the 50s, if you went anywhere near a steel pan, you're going to get licked. They're going to beat you. They beat you. I got licked so much that I got no one to take licks. You know, but it is an interesting thing to play pan around the world. Not only you represent the Caribbean, but you get a great education from dealing with people, learning their cultures and their music, their food. And that's when you really get educated.
when you know how people react, when you know how to deal with people where you live. We are all Canadians and always supposed to help each other. Always help each other. Like the pan itself. If the pan isn't unified, if we didn't have all the notes on the pan, it would not be a pan. You may not, like any instrument, if you have one string, it's not an instrument. So I played a lot of places and I've been very grateful to meet other people. And I'm very happy to play here for you all today.
So I just have to ask, so you, obviously the steel pan has a very unique sound, but what's the big difference between playing the pan and any other percussion instrument?
Playing the pan is like, you play and playing from home, from your heart. Yeah? It's your home, it's the music, like you play the steel pan, you get the different notes. Now that is playing. If you want to beat, it's a different story. You don't beat pan anymore. It's like playing a piano. You can only get so much volume out of the piano or any instrument. If you beat on it, you're destroying it. So playing that music, playing the pan for me, is something that resonates with me from when I was about 5 or 6 years old. There was a guy who had an old steel pan, really old, and I would hear this thing. And that music went straight to my heart. My dad would tell me, don't go near that thing, it's bad. It's like being in some taboo with some rock, acid band kind of stuff. It was bad at that time. But it didn't matter to me. That's something that stuck with me, and always. I've been playing pan for 60 years now. And and it's every day playing the pan, I learn something new. I know how to play the instrument better. I know how to blend my notes better. And I would like to teach, pass on to somebody else, the younger people, what I know. I wouldn't beat them, but no, it can't be that easy. But, I like to pass on what I've learned over the years with young guys. And this is a great guy, you know, brave, and very talented. And if you continue what you're doing now, you'll make it really big. Don't ever stop, right? That's my advice to you, and congratulations on doing a wonderful job.
Gosh, you've been playing for 60 years, you don't look a day over 30, right? Thank you so much, Stephen. We are going to hear you play. Just going to check in with Liz to see where we're at. Do we want to get him to play now? Yeah, let's go for it. Okay, so we do have Constable Tracy Ford coming in to speak with us, but she's about 5 minutes away, so we're going to take a little bit of a break. Is that what we want to do? Yeah, I want to hear the Caribbean Sun play, and then we'll get a little bit more from him after we hear from our last speaker. So, you ready to go? All right, let's do it. The Caribbean Sun. We're going to hear more from him a little bit later. I would like to introduce Constable Tracy Ford, the Caribbean liaison for Calgary Police Services. Constable Ford has been a pioneer in working with Calgary's South Asian and Caribbean community through the Calgary Police Services Diversity Unit. She works with community leaders to help facilitate discussions and solve challenges impacting the safety and well-being of this community. Bringing part of her own Indigenous culture to her work, among other tools, Constable Ford uses a peacekeeping circle model. She is skilled at bridging the gaps that exist within the South Asian and Caribbean diaspora, connects the community in a positive way to law enforcement, and has gained the trust and respect of the community. Constable Ford focuses her attention both on people in need and on general initiatives that maximize the community's ability to live a safe and peaceful life. Constable Ford is particularly gifted at supporting young adults and women, encouraging them to become involved in their community. Constable Ford's cultural competency and commitment to service has helped this community forge a path to build a safer, stronger community and city. Please welcome Constable Tracy Ford.
Hi, thank you all for having me, and I apologize for my lateness. I was at another event doing a presentation, so I didn't run, I drove, and of course, as some of you probably did, ran across the construction zone on 4th Avenue, so that wasn't fun, but I'm here. So I wanted to congratulate Tempo on the relaunch of their programming, and I'm looking very forward to working with them in the future and coming out to help out with any of the events that they have planned. A little bit about myself. I've been with the Calgary Police Service for just over 24 years. And I was a police officer in Edmonton before that because I grew up in the north in Grand Prairie, so I'm slowly working my way south. Maybe all the way to the Caribbean, we'll see. Hopefully someday. So my role as a liaison officer is to build relationships between the Caribbean and the South Asian communities and the police. And because of COVID, we really haven't been able to get out to meet people in the community until now. So we're starting to get out and go to community events and meet up with people. We also have an advisory board, and the advisory board is made up of the presidents from all of the different communities. So from Jamaica to any of the other countries in the Caribbean, all have representatives on their community associations. So all of those presidents have a president's forum. Sorry, I'm not too quick on the Caribbean countries at the moment. So all of these countries all have presidents of their associations, as you know. And so they all get together once a month, and I pop into their meetings just to see if there's anything happening in the community that the police should be aware of, or that we can help with, or ways that we can be more involved in bridging the gap between the police and the community. some of the things that we've been trying to be involved in is we do have a young men's program with trying to develop life skills, help them with employment and that kind of thing that we've been working on with the Jamaican community in particular. But if there's anything that you feel is needed in the community or ideas that you have, I'm more than willing to bend an ear and listen to what you think, because I know that sometimes the relationship can be quite strained, and that's my job, is to try and bridge those gaps and build relationships. So thank you very much for having me, and I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Constable Ford, for sharing with us today. Now we have a little bit more of an understanding of what her role is within the community. So we learned a ton today about steel pans. We are going to hear some more from the Caribbean Sun. I wanted to take this time to thank everyone, especially the speakers today, Councillor Walcott, Constable Ford, Arden Lancaster, and all of our event sponsors as well, Komatsu, Hype Moss Beverages, Over by Stutch, Island Beat, Sweet TNT Bakery, and of course Junction for hosting the event as well. And thank you to all the pan players, Zion and Steven, who you're going to hear more of, and of course DJ Mandy in the house as well. Let's give a round of applause. And of course, thank you to all of you for attending the event today. Apparently you need to make orders for your doubles before they're all gone, right? Okay, you can't leave without doubles. So again, thank you everyone. Remember to support the Steel Pan campaign and help Tempo reach their goal to teach this great instrument of pan to the young people, pass on our traditions to the next generation. So before I bid you adieu, I want to bring in the Caribbean Sun again. Are you ready to fire it up? He's ready to fire it up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.